Hello and welcome to another live stream with your boy Harry Partridge, and today I'm going to be drawing a commission for a kind supporter of mine. I recently sold some commissions on actually I was gonna take them public, put them on Patreon first on a discount, and then I was going to take the remaining commission slots and advertise them without the discount publicly, but they all went on Patreon, so they went really quickly. So today we're drawing a World of Warcraft character, this lovely lady here. I actually don't know her name, but that's what she looks like. I think she is a dark elf. I'm gonna need some nerds to confirm a few things for me, because I'm gonna have questions. I briefly played World of Warcraft about, I don't know, 12 years ago, but I've not played it since. I think she's a dark elf, and that's a side view of her. She's got some really bloody big ears. Gotta confirm that. Massive ears. I've actually been asked to make the ears quite a bit smaller, and I'll show you my sketch in a minute for what I've done to kind of prepare for this. So there she is in profile, and here she is from a bit far away. He said that was the closest that he could get, so I'm gonna have to work with it. But there we go. There is our lovely lady. I'm gonna open up a drink, send out a link, and then we can get this thing underway. So hopefully the sound's coming through okay. You guys can hear me all. Oh, Night Elf. Okay, people are saying Jan Duval is in the chat. Everyone, Jan is the person behind the commission, and Jan has commissioned me to draw Lula the Night Elf. There we go. Well, I was going to ask if indeed Lula was a dark elf or a night elf or what, because I wanted to make sure if we go with a background, like a sky or something behind her, maybe it was related to the kind of species that she is. You know, like if it was, I see, I don't know anything about World of Warcraft, but let's say that the Night Elves come from a country which has like a green sky or something. I'd maybe want to give it a green sky, you know? It would be like if you were going to draw Luke Skywalker, you might put two suns in the background or something. A very simple element that you can put in the background just to kind of help flesh out a little bit and do a little tiny bit of world building in the illustration. But let me just send out a link, guys, really quickly. This is Lula we're drawing. So let me share this and let everyone see that I am going to be working on our commission. And not be worried about that. Okay. So we're going to try and get through this all today on stream, which is going to be a lot. Now, I have a sketch that I've drawn, and I'll show you in just a second. And I'm going to use that as the basis for my art today. As you can hear, guys, my throat is a little bit dry today. It's actually been like this for a while. I don't think I have the COVID. I think I'm all good. But I've just had a dry old throat for a while, and I'm not sick. It's just maybe a little bit too much exhaustion, too much work. So here is Lula, and we're going to take it back, and I'll show you that's her full body. And this is my sketch that I've done. Now, this was done sort of to Jan Duval's specification. He wanted her with a slightly cheeky expression drawn in profile. It's technically an icon portrait, meaning sort of head only, but we want to get a little bit of the body in. And here's the problem. If I drew her too close up and he used the avatar on Twitter, say, the circle crop that Twitter uses, because it crops it into a circle, we would lose anything in the corners. So I actually have to zoom out quite a bit more and show a little bit of a body, just so that if you wanted to, you could go ahead and cut a big circle out and still try and get in sort of the core detail, which was the side of the head, the profile, and also Comic Tropes is in the chat. Comic Tropes, what do you mean it was nice knowing you? Good to see you, by the way. But yeah, so that would be why I've gone with a slightly zoomed out look. But this is not perfect, and Jan Duval is in the chat right now, and in fact Jan Duval can confirm for me if anything's slightly off, if the head is too big or the body is too small or anything like that. Whatever needs to be fixed, I will gladly fix it and try and do it on live stream. So we'll get through as much of this today as we can. I'm going to go in with my... Oh, that's not good. That's not good. See, the driver has crashed and there's no pressure sensitivity. First of all, let me clear up my desk. I've got all this clattering stuff on my desk. Making noise. Right, that's bad. Okay, guys, very, very quickly, I'm going to go and reinstall the driver very, very quickly to get my Cintiq working. I will be right back in a second. Hello, and we're back. No, I didn't actually reinstall drivers. What I have to do is open up the taskbar and stop all of the Wacom stuff and then go to services and restart the Wacom service. Because what happens is the pressure sensitivity disappears and it means I basically can't draw anything worth a damn. So let's see now. Hopefully we've got it back and we're all good to go. Doesn't mean I have to restart the software as well. So it's all very, very unnecessary and finicky. There we go. There we go. So let's get to Lular and bring Lular to life. So this is Lular. This is our reference art that we've got of Lular that was sent over to me by the commissioner. Not Commissioner Gordon, our commissioner who has asked for this art, Jan de Waal. And I'm looking to see if Jan actually had any thoughts on what I've drawn so far. It looks great. The ears look just right. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, Jan asked for slightly smaller ears. If you can see, look at those ears. They are so freaking huge, the original ears. And we're going to go with something just a little bit smaller for this artwork, just so we can fit it all in, basically. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can start drawing the hand, because hands are always a giant pain. And I want to make sure that the brush is a little bit too thick. I want to make sure we get the annoying stuff out of the way to begin with. So, I hope you're all having an excellent day today. I am having a kind of an average day. Britain is in, well, I don't know if it's the whole of Britain. England, anyway, I know that much, is in a lockdown at the moment. So I went grocery shopping today, and it was like being the Omega Man, walking in this weird town with everything closed up and no one around. That was a hoot and holler. And the weather's very grey, because it's that kind of time of year. And it's all just a big ball of fun right now. But that's okay, because we're going to do some drawing and take our mind off it. Now, what is going on with her weapon? Okay, it's some sort of wrap or bandage, I think, around the bone handle. It looks like it's some sort of wrap, so that's what I'm gonna go with, and hopefully that sort of does the trick. Put a little bit of detail in there just to show that it's definitely made of bone. And then see, this is I'm trying to make do with the reference that Jan has provided me, and it's quite low resolution, so it looks like there's some sort of bones sticking out of the handle, maybe. I always feel about that when you can't tell what it is you're looking at when it comes to reference, hopefully no one else will be able to as well. You know, if that's the best reference that could be provided and I can't quite tell what I'm looking at, then hopefully when I put the whole thing together, it'll be okay, right? Okay, so we're gonna go with some kind of, let me see. Yeah, so it's sort of like that. There's a cutout. And something like that. No, it's more of one smooth line. And then it's pretty straight, basically, right down the edge there. And I think that we can... see, I thought this part had little teeth on it, but it doesn't. That's actually the clothing underneath. Okay, so it's just a straight down blade, I guess, protecting the knuckles or something, like a little knuckle guard. So she could punch with a knife if she wanted to. A knife with the power of punches. And I can't tell what's going on here with the bones. I'm just gonna draw kind of bones. It's gonna shove some bones in there. Jan, if you have any advice, I'm getting my words confused here. If anything I can do to make the knife look better, that's kind of what I was gonna go with for the time being. I don't know. It just looks like there's crisscross bones going all over the place. There's something going out here too. There's like a big sort of, I don't know. That's not right. What does he say? Okay. He's Googling it. He's Googling what is going on with the knife. If you could just tell me the name, I can kind of do the same, but I wouldn't mind you just giving me written instructions for what to do. Okay. Bring that line up a little bit, and we will go back to... okay, well, Jan has got a picture he's going to email me. You can go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and email me, Jan, and we'll bring it into the chat. Or into the artwork. Put it in the chat, but... Now, one thing that I can draw are these wraps around her body. That's fairly easy to draw, I think. Basically, just going to crisscross them over her like that. Chris making a lot of soup jokes in the chat because that's the kind of thing he does. He's basically a bully. He's like a schoolyard bully. If he finds out that you've ever had soup to eat, you will never hear the end of it. The damn soup memes. Look, I eat soup, okay? That reminds me, actually, as a kid, my sister, there was a boy that was interested in my sister, and she kind of didn't want anything to do with him. But I thought it was really funny that I looked at her phone and I got his phone number. And I sort of teased him with my friends, and obviously he never knew who I was or he didn't know what phone number was bothering him and leaving him texts. So he used to wear these neck scarves all the time, and we used to think that was really funny that a boy would just wear neck scarves all the time, like Fred from Scooby-Doo. So we started leaving him these prank phone calls, asking him, so are you wearing a scarf today? Let's talk about your scarf collection. I just remember one day he left me this really angry voice message that went along the lines of, okay, I don't know who you are or why you're bothering me. I wear scarves, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. Why do you think that's so funny? And of course, like, that kind of reaction makes it way funnier. Alright. And sent an image. I will bring over the image. Give me 1 second, guys. And we're back, and we got a naked butt and a big old picture of a knife. Why is that funky? Oh, it's on a different layer. Let's just grab it here, cut, and paste. So yeah, that gives me a better idea of what I'm looking at. Basically, it's crisscrossed bones or something to strengthen the kind of hilt area. That makes sense. So let's get rid of what I drew, which is not really the same thing, and just draw some crisscrossed bones. What's going on? Do they come up to the... No, they don't really come up to the... Okay. I'm going to move the little cutout and move that further up the blade. And make it kind of smoother. Okay. Starting to get an idea of what this thing looks like. No, I need to look at it again. Okay, so it actually kind of comes out. Alright, so it's not quite the shape I thought it was. It's more like that. And then we've got these kind of crisscrossing bones that go over like that. Something like that. They're kind of going to be a little uneven looking. And let's make that one a bit longer and put one behind, something like that. And then the cutout up here starts above the blades, something like that. Is it right in the middle of the blade like that? I guess it is. Okay, alright, well that's gonna have to probably work there, because we don't want to spend all day drawing the damn knife. But, it's weird drawing, like, fantasy weapons that you haven't come up with, because I can draw my own nonsense, but when I gotta draw someone else's, it becomes a lot harder. Now, she's wearing some kind of gloves, I think, so we can actually use that. Anytime there's gloves or something like a wrap on the arm, you can kind of use it to get extra sort of dimension to the characters. You can actually see a little bit more what she would look like in 3D. You can actually have the fingers kind of wrapping around the weapon. Draw it just a little bit nicer, I think, when you've got some sort of some sort of wrap around. Anything that wraps around a character. Look, I'll draw what I'm talking about. Okay, all right, imagine an arm, okay, on a character like that. You kind of, you know, there's not much shape to it. Very, very nicely drawn hand there. But if it's a mummy, you can do this. You can kind of have the arm going that way, or you can sort of add depth to it going that way, and then obviously the hand would have to be sort of drawn a little bit differently. But anytime you can do that, you can draw lines across the character. You sort of imply the physical dimension of the character, you know, because if you did that, let's say the character has a really funky shape to them like that, you could sort of understand that there was some sort of, I don't know, hard edge to the character, like if they were a robot or something. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. I know you definitely know what I mean. I know that I'm not being vague and blustery and confusing. I know that I'm a very good orator and you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, Tamagotchi's in the chat. Tamagotchi watched the first episode of the cartoon Sectors, the very short-lived, cancelled 1980s cartoon Sector. It reeks of 1980s Filmation tune-made cheesiness. Yes, I agree. It is extremely cheesy. I do actually have one of the figures somewhere. It was a 1980s toy line about these sort of like fantasy bug people, kind of Lord of the Rings, but with bug people. Bug. It's me having that dry throat. Okay, so it's like a... Alright. Finish the little wraps there over the bones. And there we go. Yeah, let's just finish this arm up before we move on, because this is looking... needs a little bit more work. So there's some sort of mottled finish to the blade, like it's made of stone or something. I guess it could be made of metal. I don't really know. I don't think I want to try too hard to draw all of that in, because it's just going to look, I think, overly fussy if I put in too many lines. But something like that. I think it's more in the coloring, isn't it? We want to just make sure the colors are right on the blade, and the kind of purple energy that's sort of emanating from the blade. I want to make sure I get that in there too. Okay. So now let's draw in her clothing, which I'm confused about. It looks like it's made of sort of rock and tree bark shaped somehow. I don't know how you'd shape. I think, do you know what I mean? It looks like ram horns, so is it maybe bone and not rock? I guess, you know, she's a night elf. She's probably wearing lots of kind of natural type stuff, but it's all confusing to me exactly what I'm drawing. I don't know. Maybe that's... Like, why would you wear clothes made out of stone and wood? I don't know. But she's an elf. She does quirky things like that. She's got interesting tastes. She doesn't mind wearing a bit of tree bark for a bra. That's what she's into. Once again, I'm going to have to defer to the experts on here. Hey, the Bad Cow Bunch in the chat. Hi, Bad Cow Bunch. Hogstrong's parents, I would like to make them appear in a Starbarians cartoon once. I know more about his mum than his dad. But yeah, if I ever get to tell the origin story of the Starbarians, which at this point it's more likely to be in a comic book than a cartoon with how long it takes me to make the animation, but I would definitely like to tell that story, and I would see Hogstrong's mother being fairly important to that. She is. So what is going on with? She's got these swirls on her arm. I guess they look like bone, like ram horns, but they can't be right. You wouldn't have bones adhering to your skin like that. So I'm just gonna draw swirls and make them kind of gray, and trying to figure out this mad fantasy stuff. Very hard. Oh boy, come on. Something like that. And then where does it cut off? It cuts off. Okay. Does it, wait, do they go all the way up the shoulders? No, they don't. It goes back to whatever this stuff is, this sort of tree bark stuff. This is half the drawing. Half the drawing is not me actually drawing. It's me trying to figure out what what she's made of. Alright, let's just draw that other arm in. There's a sharp line. Terranium asks, why am I expecting the mum to be a pig? She would be a pig, right? He's a pig, so he's going to have pig parents. If they are his biological parents, then they are intended to be. He is not a pig. He is a Babarusan. Okay? This is not lore that I've had any time to be able to go into, but yeah, his species is Babarusan, and they look like little purple pig people. There is actually, in Kilgar's Code Episode 1, there is another Babarusan shown running from a bunch of Kilgarians, and he's like a little pig man. Okay, so this bone here turns into bigger bone that wraps around the boobie. We've got a bone boob. Something like this. So it's that kind of thing around the chest. You know, I'm gonna add some graphic black on the gloves just because I like the way it looks. I like having an element of that, and the gloves are kind of dark, so we're just gonna go in and add just a little bit of that stuff in there. Nope. And oh, she does have more stuff on her wrists. She has some sort of wrist guard here, but we're not really going to see it, I don't think, so just sort of imply something there. Get back to the bony chest. Now, there's sort of cracks in the wood. So, she's got some sort of tree bark covering up her chest, and there are all these glowing cracks in it. So it's not just wood, it's glowing wood. Which, I for one, am definitely really good at drawing clothes made out of glowing wood. And what's happening under there? It's just more glowing wood. Okay. All right. Well, I think I can draw the other side now. And other boob is covered in this weird stuff. So this is Grandma Harry trying to figure out the modern characters that the kids like so much. What am I drawing here? He's got a what? He's got a lightsaber? So yeah, that's no, hang on. Whenever I draw spirals, you get confused with what part is negative space and what part isn't. Okay, so the negative space is gonna be, that's going to be the positive space, because I don't want to create a spiral you can't color in, which you can do. You can totally do that if you're drawing anything that spirals. It looks fine with just lines, and then when you actually have to color it, it becomes impossible. It sort of create like an optical illusion, you know, like a maze, or yeah, like a little maze that you couldn't ever follow with a pen and paper type thing. So. Okay, I have a sip of my drink. Okay, Yandeval says, so while I know the name of the weapon, I did not know the name of the chess piece, so I opened up my game. It is 100% probably rocks. Its item is called Obsidian Arbor Weave Vestment. Okay, got it. Got it. Well, that's fine. I mean, if you think I'm doing a good job, I don't think I need to look at any reference for it. I think I've got enough reference. It's more glowing wood. Okay. So he's wearing something magical here, and he's got some sort of other texture going on. Like whatever this is around here. It looks like some sort of... looks like something with kind of... text on it, like she's got some sort of written parchment wrapped around her, and we've got some other sort of element here that goes up and under. I think once we've got the chest plate and stuff done, the vestment, I think we should be good with the face and the hair. It's gonna hit save. And then we've got more of the sort of the other material. Which we're gonna try to go careful to not draw the wrong area and accidentally ruin the bone part of the costume. It's kind of like a tortoiseshell pattern, I guess. Okay. Right, I think that's starting to get there. Now, she seems to have her belly out, maybe? Or maybe there's some sort of wraps visible down there. I'm going to look up in a minute and get your approval, Jan de Waal, so hopefully if there are any glaring issues you want me to take care of. By the way, Jan de Waal, if you're only just joining us, is the commissioner behind this piece, and he asked me to draw his character from World of Warcraft, and her name is Lula, and she is a night elf, and we really appreciate Jan actually coming and being in the chat today. You did not have to live stream this, you know, wherever you are. You didn't have to come and watch this. I feel like I'm eating into your time right now, but I appreciate you being on board to give me any direction you can, live and in person. So. All right, let me look up. As you know from my sketch, you are definitely doing the character more justice than I could. Yeah, so Jan actually did draw an image for me as kind of a reference for the pose that he wanted. In fact, give me a second, I'll bring that up. Unless you object, Jan, I'd like to show people your drawing. And we're back, and here is the drawing Jan kindly gave me permission to show. The name of the file is justawful.png, and that is the drawing that Jan did to show me that he kind of intended Lula to be seen in profile, holding up her blade, you know, with her ears and hair and stuff all in the frame. And I appreciate very much the lewd imagery that we've been provided here by Jan, who drew her boobs, and whatever this is, this little bit here in the middle. So we appreciate it. But obviously, he's drawn the frame in there just so that we know how much we need to show. So, using that and the other reference images that I was provided, we have been able to, at least so far, get a start on drawing the character. That's the weapon. That's Lula herself, that's the character. And here is my cleanup of my sketch. And we'll get there. It's a little strange. It's a little strange so far. I'm guessing that's some sort of text on those wraps, but I don't, you know, I'm not gonna be able to figure out exactly what they're saying, so I'm not gonna write anything in there. I hope nobody in the chat, by the way, is laughing at Jan's drawings. You guys, don't be mean. Don't be mean. No picking on Jan, okay? This is going to be her thigh. I'm actually deviating a little bit. I'm just having her leg lifting up into shot like she's kind of in the middle of a run, which is not something that Jan specified, but I figured kind of would be kind of cool. Just roughly hint at her belt or something in the shot. Okay. Right, so her pants don't have any detail. I guess they do have a little bit of detail. They've got like a bit of fur or something. I'll just erase that. So we're going to have to color this all to make it actually make sense, because this is all a little bit messy so far. We want to hint at some sort of shading and stuff. So now we're going to come onto the head. Now, The head of the character in the game, we're actually going to make a couple of changes. Jan asked that I make the ears quite a lot smaller, so we're going to do that. The detail in Lula's hair, the leaves and vines that she's got wrapped up in her hair, we're going to make those smaller too. Jan asked me to make them smaller and a different color, but we'll have to come back to that later. And another thing which I didn't get the okay on yet was this pattern around her face. It looks like some kind of scar. I noticed she only has it on one side. One side of her face is burnt and this side is clean. I'm probably only going to represent that with coloring because I don't want to go and add a load of ugly lines to her face. But Jan, if you're in the chat still, give me an idea. Yeah, it looks like Jan is. If you have any kind of feelings about how severe you want the scar on the side of the face, I assume that's part of the character because you designed her. So if you want me to incorporate that, I will. But I was going to just sort of do kind of a something vague with the coloring and make the discoloration. But if you want me to get really gross and gory or something, let me know. So first of all, we're going to draw the ears in. And we need to see a big. Okay, so they're basically just a big solid thing. There's not a whole lot of detail. I want to taper them just a little bit because they're not quite so Yodery. Yeah, I like that. I think that's pretty good. And it's not a whole lot of detail. It's all pretty much down this end. And then the lobe basically just extends forever, so. Hey Davy88, good to see you. Thank you everyone for coming by. Appreciate it massively. James Cope says belly button. Yeah, we included a belly button. Is that a problem? That's about the height for a belly button, right? Because she's got, you know, this area of her is, maybe we wouldn't actually see it. Maybe we wouldn't actually see it. It looks like something's covering her there. Well, if Jan corrects me on that front, that's fine. Jan says about the scar, it could be a light scar with the colouring. It's a burn scar from her and the other night elves' tree home burning. Okay, alright, okay, he said a light scar with the colouring is okay. Is this your character, Harry asks, part 5 Iggy. No, Iggy, this is not my character. This is Jan Duval's character. Jan Duval is in the chat, and I'm drawing it for Jan Duval. So the earrings that she's got are these kind of, it's like a metal chunk with these two sort of spikes coming out. So I'm going to try and get that across. I think that's about right for the earrings. Erase some of that ear that we don't want to see from behind. Come on, it's getting messy now. It's getting messy. Alright. Now I'm not sure the pattern on the... let me look at the fucking leaves. Alright. Okay, the leaves are sort of like Canadian maple leaf type things. So we've been asked to draw the leaves quite a bit smaller than they are actually seen in the game. So we're going to go with something just a bit more subdued and a little bit more understated for the leaves. Are attached to these vines. And going to put another one in there. A little bit messy, I can clean that up. I'll try and incorporate that into the detail that sort of makes up her hair. So the one thing I'm not sure about is this detail at the back. She's got like a hair tie if we look, you can kind of see there's a metal clasp holding her hair together at the back, but I can't tell the detail and I can't really read what that looks like exactly, but I figure it's basically just like a metal kind of clasp. It looks like, again, it has some sort of swirly detail on it, so I'm thinking that's probably going to have to do the trick. Maybe, I don't know. Something like that. She's got some more leaves coming out the back of her hair. I don't know why she got so many leaves in her hair. It's like she had a fight with the hedge or something, and hopefully she won. So I'm gonna stick a couple more leaves in there, but again, we're keeping them smaller than they are in the game, and that's part of Jan's request. Something like that. Hang on. Alright. And now we're just going to draw a big whoosh of hair. I wanted to try and imply some motion like she's moving, so we've got the hair a little bit wild here at the back. You have a few kind of loose strands. Just sort of just imply that she's in motion. She's going somewhere. She's moving up in the world. She's up to something anyway. But again, I didn't want to have anything, you know, ideally I'd want to have it really long and extended, but that would then cut it off, and we want the I think when you're drawing an illustration, you usually want to get everything on the page if you can. You don't want to have sort of limbs getting cut off, and I know we're drawing a close-up of the character, so we are only drawing the head, but I wanted to get all of the hair in the shot, so that's why we're kind of truncating her hair just a little bit. A few more strands of hair there. Actually get rid of this big streak. And I have not looked at the chat in a while, so I'll come back in just a moment, but it's been in hairland thinking about night elf hair. Okay, I think that's alright for the back of her hair. Again, anything, because Jan is actually in the chat last time I checked, anything Jan doesn't like, Jan can come and correct me on, which is going to be really useful for getting something together that is hopefully pleasing. Alright, let me just clean that up a little bit. And this big strand up here that's cutting through the hair behind it, let's do that and hit save. I think that looks pretty good. And have a sip of my drink and see what you folks are saying in the chat. Tomagotchi says, it's fun to see you do a more serious and detailed character when in contrast to the cartoony commission I asked for. My friends and family saw it and loved it, by the way. Well, excellent. Thank you very much. I'm glad they liked it. Hey Harry, what years were you active playing WoW? Asks MaBoy64. I mean, I played it really briefly, dude, and it was probably around 2009. I actually, this is kind of sad to admit, but I actually wanted to play it because of the South Park episode. Remember the one where they're all training, to, you know, fighting the boars in the forest and getting like really strong, but totally getting fat in real life? I probably played it around 2009 or 2008, whenever that episode came out, but I couldn't really get my friends to play it with me. I used to play Star Wars Galaxies back in 2003, 2004, and I was really into that game hugely. I probably played it for like a year straight, around the time the new game enhancements came out, and then it started to go south and they changed a lot of the game, and then I pretty much stopped playing it after that. But that was the MMO that I was really into as a youth, not World of Warcraft. But I would have played World of Warcraft when if I had friends that were playing it, I would have played it. And I remember, in fact, that was the big issue when I was kind of coming back to it. Sorry, playing it in 2008, 2009. I just couldn't get anyone to play it with me, and my friends tried it and they didn't like it, so we sort of stopped. I'm gonna put a little bit of shadow in her ear because I realize the only black that we have is on the gloves right now, and if that, you don't want just one area of just concentrated black on a picture, and it can kind of look a bit too distracting. So I may get rid of that on the glove if there's no other areas with any sort of dark spots. It can look just a little bit too sort of lopsided, I think, the whole image. Alright, so now we've got to do the face. This is the bit I'm scared about. Gonna have a couple more stray hairs, even though her hair is tied back. You know, if you spend any time looking at women's heads, it sounds creepy. if you study women's heads when they're not looking, or when you've collected them in your basement jars, sorry, that's not funny. You will see that they usually have strands of hair, even though they've tied the hair back. Joyce, you know, she ties her hair up and then bits fall out. Not bits of hair, but strands of hair kind of fall loose. I wish I hadn't made jokes about collecting heads in a basement. All right, let's go back to inking this. Okay, come on, Harry. So yeah, she's got just little bits flying away. And this is all to distract me from drawing the face. The face I'm nervous about because I never ever draw a good face on the first time. I usually draw something I'm not happy with and then have to go back and correct it a bunch of times. So you guys are going to see lots of things that I do and then don't like. But hopefully Yan can guide me because Yan is in the chat. So she's got these really absurd eyebrows. So I guess this is a World of Warcraft thing. I did see the World of Warcraft movie, but I don't remember too much about it. I do remember the elves have these insane eyebrows, and we're going to try and do that. I wanted to make them high, an arch high. She's got really high eyebrows there, but still make them look like her eyebrows and not part of her hair, because I was asked to draw an expression that could be described as cheeky. So she's got sort of these high eyebrows. Like, for example, actually, I'll just delete that. If the eyebrows weren't, you know, weird and elfy, I'd probably just sort of draw them like that. Like she's kind of like, smirking a little bit, you know, looking a little bit cocky. However, the dark elf, the night elf eyebrows, the elf eyebrows, they arch up directly. I don't think they can do. I don't think. Is Yan's original there for anyone that wants to see that again? That was his guide that he kindly drew me. Let's say you've got these insane eyebrows that go up like that, right? Hello, I am an ant person. If you want to draw these people looking sad, how would you do that? Because their eyebrows naturally look sort of angry. You'd have to kind of, I don't know, you could sort of droop them, I guess. But that looks very cartoonish and a bit silly. And because she's sort of supposed to be doing an expression where she's kind of like, you know, she's sort of doing a slight smirk at the person sort of looking up to her. She's like, hee hee hee, look at you. I can't do that and not exaggerate it with these giant eyebrows that go up. I don't want them to droop down. So we're sort of having some trouble with the eyebrows, but I think if I just go with what I was originally going to go with, which is like that, we still sort of get the point across. And I'm not sure who said it in the chat. Somebody said the face looks good. Socks and Joggings said her face is looking good in the sketch. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to try and do it justice at the inking stage. Okay. All right, let's get to it. No, I'm going to delay the face. I'm going to keep drawing the hairline because that is an area so I think I feel a little bit more comfortable doing. Hang on a second. I'm trying to figure out what. Okay. All right, so it's like that. We've got. Here's a question. Are there any good MMOs out at the moment on the Xbox One? Because I recently got a gold account on the Xbox One, and I was looking for MMOs, and I kind of couldn't see any I liked the look of. What would be ideal is an MMO that was cross-play with the Switch and the and the Xbox, so I could play on the Xbox and Joyce could play on the Switch, because we only have one of each, right? and I don't really like playing handheld games on the Switch, but she doesn't mind it. And I'd like to do that, but I don't see any that are good cross-play games. But still, I would play an MMO on the Xbox One. I mean, I could try Elder Scrolls Online. It's been many, many years, but I could give that another go. Or, I don't know if Black Desert Online is good, or... I know there's a couple. It's not like there aren't MMOs. I always wanted to play DC Universe Online. I played it briefly, but again, no one to play with, and I have things to do. Just wondered if you guys had any suggestions for that kind of thing. Make sure we still give a little bit of forehead here, just so you can see that was her eyebrow and not actually one of her hairs. They have these funky eyebrows that I want to make sure I do justice. They have little spikes in them, don't they? Yeah, she's got these little barbs on her eyebrow, which we probably want to incorporate. Kind of a risk of making her look a little bit masculine though if the eyebrows are too big. I think that works. I think that works. Let me actually erase the leaves that are visible through the eyebrow. We don't want that. And I'll save, and I'll see if you guys have made me any suggestions for games I can check out on the Xbox One. I just started playing Elder Scrolls Online, says Jan Duval. Not on Switch, unfortunately, says Mr. Matamation. By the way, thank you for coming by, Mr. Matamation. Hi, James. There's so many people in the chat I don't know. Zeus the Allfucker. ESO is decent to know if it is cross-platform, though. Thank you, Zeus the Allfucker, for coming by. It's a cool name. Raid Shadow Legends. This Raid Shadow Legends commercial is brought to you by... me, Jontron. Yeah. Old school RuneScape. Is RuneScape on it? I don't think I've ever played RuneScape. Is it on Xbox One? I would play Baldur's Gate, actually. The old ones, I wouldn't mind playing. I prefer playing older games the older I get. Hey, Atomic Alan, thank you for coming by. Alright, we're going to put a little bit more detail and line work in the hair. Because I'm delaying drawing the face, guys. I don't want to draw the damn face. It's really tough drawing things for other people, and it's a hard thing to describe. The reason why it's tough drawing things for other people is because you want to please them, and you're not just pleasing yourself. Hey, my boy 64 with an enormous super chat. That's a super unnecessary and generous thing to do. Thank you so much. My boy with a £50 super chat says, keep being amazing, Harry. Your animations have helped me through some turbulent times in my life for a long time. Damn, you're still insanely good. Wow. That is extremely generous and very nice of you to say so. I'm flattered and I'm touched to think that something I made would have helped anybody through any period of their life, let alone a turbulent period. But thank you, my boy 64. How incredibly kind of you. I hope you're having a good day. Wherever you are in the world. I assume Britain, because he sent me it in pounds. He didn't send me lira or you know, Neptunian krona. So I hope you're doing good, man. I hope that those turbulent periods have subsided somewhat. And you say you've gotten through them, so I hope that means, you know, positive things. It's certainly been a rough year for a lot of people. I know that much. And I'm sure there are people in the chat that can empathize with going through a rough patch, because this year's just been pretty hard for a lot of people. So I hope you're doing good. Okay. Gregor the Scot is in the chat. Gregor is a good buddy of mine, who I actually only really started talking to this year. Gregor is now editing some content for the Patreon. Some Patreon exclusive videos. Like the Shot Blast series, which hopefully we'll do another episode of soon. It's on hiatus somewhat at the moment, but I think we have a good episode planned that we've already started recording a lot of assets for, because I'm working on a little animated project at the moment. And we're going to turn that into episode 6 of Shot Blast, and I'm sure we're going to do lots of things in the future. And actually, I've been speaking to Gregor lately. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. about ways we can make the live streams better, because I would like to keep live streaming, but there's something a little bit too dry, I think, about the format of just sitting down and drawing and talking. And of course, that's sort of the core of what I'm doing, and it may be hard to get away from that, but I think there are definitely things that I can do, or that Gregor and I can do together, ways that we can make things just better, all in all. So hopefully I will one day have a channel where you can suggest some things like that, or we'll just do lots of research of our own and figure out exactly what that would be. So now I'm drawing the face, and I'm panicking because that's the hard part. Drawing the lips is going to be very, very difficult. But I think one thing that's important when you're drawing attractive feminine faces, and she's an attractive lady for sure, is you don't want to go too heavy with the line detail. I think somebody once said that every time you draw a line on a character's face, it ages them about 10 years. You want to be careful with that. You don't want to be drawing, you know, and I'm not going to keep any of this, but you don't want to go, oh yeah, let's put some wrinkle lines and a line around her mouth, and let's put in the nostril there, and we'll put a shadow under the lip. Oh, and we'll figure, you know, make the jaw really defined with a big shadow. You do too much of that, and the character will look 55 years old immediately. So even that cheek line, I'm not sure about that one. I'll maybe come back to that. But she's an elf. She's got these kind of sharp features, so I don't know. It's tough. We're not exactly drawing a real human being. We are drawing a fantasy person, but I want to keep her looking attractive and kind of soft and feminine. So I might just do my pass on it and then let people take, if they have any suggestions, they can help out. Or Jan is the person who's commissioned this piece of work, so if Jan has any advice. It's a bunch of questions I've not gotten to yet. Fossmon says, have you ever applied for work on an animation studio? I'm not interested in working at a studio. I'd rather make my own stuff. Duatu says, hey Harry, love to see you working. It's amazing to see that you're still drawing years later. Thank you very much, Duatu. I hope my well wishes felt like enough compared to the super chat. Hey, I appreciate it all. Appreciate all the well wishing. Thank you. Jan Duval says, I just googled Neverwinter. Neverwinter is the D&D MMO, and it's on Xbox and Terra. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I wouldn't mind looking at Neverwinter, actually. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Oh boy. Okay, there's a question. How did your Elder Scrolls cartoons come about? Asks Harry Ashfield. Well, let me tell you, Harry Ashfield, that I have been a fan of the Elder Scrolls series since Morrowind. That was my jumping on point. And I actually listened to it today for the first time in years. I made a little song back in 2006, I think it was, called Cyrodiil Mages Guild, which was just a little parody about kind of how cool mages are in Skyrim. It would have been Oblivion would have been the current game, and other people made videos to it, but I never made one. And then I was so hyped for Skyrim when that first teaser dropped. I remember I was actually like vibing. I was so excited I couldn't wait for the game. So I went and I wanted to make something, and I felt like, I think I remember having the actual feeling of the teaser came out and there was nothing to look at. It's like, well, that's the teaser. I've seen the teaser now. Now I can't, there's no images online, there's nothing to like look at, there's no gameplay, it's just that's the teaser, you got the release date. So I thought, right, well, I'm just going to make my own thing. I'm going to listen to the music, I'm going to kind of create my own parody of the song, and I'm just going to make a video about being excited for the game because there's nothing else to really sort of say or do about it. So that's what I did, and that was the first Skyrim cartoon, which was made totally of my own volition as a little kind of fan project. And then after that, it was later in 2011 when they were actually ramping up to release Skyrim, and I was with the YouTube network at the time, and a nice man that worked at the YouTube network actually contacted Bethesda and said, look, this guy is a fan of your games, do you want him to do some more of these? And the next two were made that way with actual financial support, because they were technically at this point marketing. Although I was still excited to play the game, I still played at release day, and that was all fun and stuff. And that's how the rest were made too. That contact kind of continued, and we ended up going back to that well a few times. And when they wanted to promote either the online game or the re-release, I made something new. But honestly, I kind of ran out of things to say. I mean, I like the game a heck of a lot. I love Skyrim, it's a great game, but I don't, you know, I didn't really want to just keep making videos over and over again. And I don't think I'll make one for the next game. So I put a bunch of lines in for the face, and let's flip it. I feel like we're going to get a lot of mileage out of actually having her eye look in a certain direction, and that's going to be slightly too kind of behind her, like she's looking back at someone. And the character, she actually has these big dark solid eyes, so it's a little hard to imply a direction, but what I'm going to do is actually add a highlight in there, and the highlight is sort of going to imply directionality, I think. See, now it kind of looks like she's looking at you, right? She's like, hey, I see you. So I think that helps quite a bit. The lips I'm not so sure about. The lips I feel could be slightly better, but I'm going to defer to our supporter, who's on the Patreon supporter, as are a bunch of people in the chat, very generously. And Jan, is there anything about the face that you would like, other than the pattern, of course, the purple pattern, which I think we'll do at the coloring stage, and the scar, which will, let me flip it back, so we're looking at the scar on the right side. The scar, which is on this side of her face. Other than the scar and the pattern, the sort of purple tattoo on her face, is there anything that you would like changed about the whole character right now? And if you do, great, and I will get to work on that. If not, we can move on to kind of coloring and shading and all that sort of type of stuff. It's just going to put a little neckline there. Maybe not, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'll take a quick break and I'll read some questions from people. Thank you for asking the question, Harry Ashfield. My boy 64 says Skyrim feels like it was long ago. Well, yeah, it was 9 years ago. It is a long old time now. I mean, I can't believe they've not released another one yet. I know, obviously, it's coming down the line and they've teased it in many ways, but it's surprising that a game that successful has taken that long. But how long ago was GTA 5? That was, what, 2013 that came out? I think that's 7 years already, so certainly that's gonna become the norm, isn't it? These AAA games are gonna be, 2 generations apart, a decade apart. Jan Deval says we can move forward from here. Well, that's great. I will do that and try and color her as nicely as I can, and do her justice. Just change a couple of things that are bothering me. Alright, so what we're going to do for coloring is actually going to delete our guide drawing, which is somewhere. Where is it? What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more detail to actually some of these areas, which I meant to finish off. Sorry Jan. A little bit more detail in there, just to imply that kind of rocky texture. Adrian! Old terrible joke. And now I think I'm ready to color this. So I'm gonna actually select a bright green, very obnoxious looking line, and we're gonna go in and sort of create these separations between different areas, and then the green line will go later. But I'm gonna take a very quick break, guys. Just gonna visit my buddy the bathroom, see what he's up to, and I'll be right back in a minute to get this lady colored. I'll be back soon. Hello! I'm back from my break. It was great. And we're gonna get and colour our young lady now and try and do her justice at the colouring stage. So what I'm gonna do is create kind of a separation between areas that are intended to be lit and unlit with this green line. So it's all gonna look very obnoxious for the time being. It's gonna look really ugly and you're gonna go, Harry, well, what are you doing? You had a good thing there and you've gone and ruined it. But it's all, I think, for a good purpose, which is making the drawing work. Let me see. So for example, this area is going to be in shadow. And we'll do the same with this arm, put that in shadow. I kind of do the same thing for animation, really. Rather than shadow like every part of the body differently, I'm just going to treat it basically like one big sort of area. And try to put a little bit more in there, clean that up just a tiny bit. I can tell this is going to be hard to color. It's going to be tough. It's a lot of information, a lot of detail. Okay, alright, let's close that off there. And put her belly kind of in, with a little bit of light hitting it, and the same with this area. And this is just to create, oh, this little girl, this creepy little girl. What button is it I keep hitting? It's the stamp tool. Every time I hit it instead of the eraser or instead of the pencil, this little girl with goggles on her head. That's some feature, I guess, that Toon Boom has, where you can sort of stamp in artwork that you preset and predetermined. I have never used it before, and I that's the default image. I do not have anything to do with that little girl. That's not a drawing by me. Creepy little girl. Okay, so we're going to create kind of a light edge of the blade, I guess, where it's been worn away. And then some areas that are a little bit darker. Something like that. And that will make sense later on, although it looks kind of chaotic at the moment. Excuse me, I gotta do a big old belch. Fucking hell. That's me having a Coca-Cola on my stream. It's not a very good idea. Hey, Virtual271. I don't think I said hello to Virtual271, but he was in the chat and now he's gone. Bye, Virtual271. Okay, so hey, Beanlight. Beanlight's in the chat. Well, thank you, Beanlight. Thank you for your kind words about this artwork that we're doing for Yan Deval here, and I think it's coming out okay. Maybe overthought a few parts, but I think it's doing alright. Okay, so that's the blade. Shade the blade. Now the rest of her is she's gonna have. So we're gonna put her chin kind of in shadow a little bit. Something like that. The nose. Definitely the eye. And the ear. Now, I'm thinking we're going to do some fancy stuff with kind of backlighting her a little bit too, which is all going to be... Yeah, I don't think I can do the hair. No, the hair is so complicated. I'll actually, at the coloring stage, I'll sort of shade the hair manually, but same with the clasp. You know what? I think we're done with the bulk areas of shadow. I just want to backlight her a little bit because I think that'll look cool, as if there's, as she's running, there's something kind of illuminating her a little bit from behind, so we get a second light source. And be kind of quick and easy to do. Okay, and I'll do the same with the hair. I'll manually do the backlighting on the hair. Now, there's a couple other elements like the glow from the knife that she's holding. We're gonna want to do that, but I might do that in Photoshop. Just a couple of other kind of elements like sky and stuff behind her. We'll leave that until the very end. Oh yeah, the pattern on the... Okay, so she's got this butterfly-looking kind of tattoo on her face, which I wanna put in there and make it look good. And maybe we can get Yan's feedback on this. So it's something like... something like that, right? Loosely, it sort of goes up. It's all sort of pointing up. I think that's okay. Maybe a little gap there. And then the scar that she's got is, that's a little more subtle, but... burn mark on her face from when Batman was in the courtroom and she tried throwing acid at somebody and landed in her face. I'm just gonna it looks very strange, I know, but the coloring will be subtle enough that I think it will work out okay. I am gonna just go with this and we'll try and fix it at the coloring stage. I'm just gonna open up Flash and I'll be back in a second. Hey, sorry about that. I just had to change over software and do a bunch of housekeeping. So let's take a look. That's what we've got currently, and I think she looks pretty good. So I saw in the chat, Davy88 made, I think, a pretty good suggestion. Davy said, where is it? Yeah, maybe the cheekbone could be done with shading. It looks too sharp. I actually think that's a good idea. That's a good point. I may well do that. I may well make that alteration. So I'm going to break apart the art. And we've got sort of some color reference here. I'm not going to use it really, really closely. I'm going to sort of do my interpretation of it. Obviously the hair is white, so rather than go with pure white, I'm just going to go with like a very, very light blue, because I think that's going to look slightly better. And more importantly than that, let's just put that in the sort of, keep a swatch of that nearby. We're going to want to go with a darker color to create the shading on the hair. So I'm thinking maybe the shadow, maybe that blue is a little bit too, it could be a little bit too dark perhaps. We still definitely want to make the hair look white. It's just that if you go with a pure solid white, sometimes it kind of, it means you can't go anywhere. Like, you can't make anything look brighter than the color of the hair. So sometimes to give a character white eyes, you still might make them slightly off-white or grey or something. So then you can have a white highlight, for example, in the hair, so in the detail. So this is what I was talking about earlier, with it just being a little bit too hard to do all the shading, separation. There's just so many streaks of hair. It's a little bit easier. Let's go with a color for a background that we might end up with. Like if we go with a purple, that's a little bit too, it's a little bit too dark actually to see what we're doing, because we're basically shading the exact same color. So and if any of these colors are incorrect, I will go ahead and actually swap them out. You can do color replace in Flash, which is really easy, where you just basically select the color you don't want and you select the color you do want, and it'll just swap out every instance of that color in the file. So let's see. Your boy's got a cough. 1 second. There we go. Cough check. Create a little bit of a separation between just a few areas to get a few more highlights back, because I feel like that massive blue hair, still, that shadow still might be too dark. A lot of the time with coloring, and the reason that I like digital coloring as opposed to coloring with real life tools, is that you need to sort of see things in context. Like, that shadow may be way too bright or it may be way too dark. I actually can't tell until, you know, we've got her skin tone and her clothing all colored in as well. And once that's all in, you can go, oh, you know what? Actually, I could have gone a lot darker with the hair, or I could have gone a lot lighter with the hair. So it's really useful to be able to just go in with vector and quickly select areas and recolor them automatically and kind of update colors as you go. Because as you start to sort of finish areas off, you start to see, oh, you know, that the hair is too dark compared to the skin, or whatever the issue is. Yeah, I feel like I'm putting too much shading there in the back. Okay. See, that hair right now looks too dark, but we will definitely update it as we go. and we may be able to find a much better color there for the hair, because definitely the original character's hair is definitely white, but it looks white in the context of everything else, you know, because she's surrounded by such dark, she's got dark skin tone, well, dark, she's got like a purple skin tone, she's on a dark background, so the hair really stands out there, it looks really bright. In fact, let's give us a dark background. Now you can sort of see now the hair starts to pop just a little bit more. There's a lot of details to color on this character. She's got a lot of line art, and we're gonna still try and get it done today on the stream. I mean, it's a long old stream. It's already come to an hour and 24, so this could be a 2 to 3 hour stream easily. I'll do what I can. It's gotten very quiet now. That's my fault because I'm just in coloring land. I have not a whole lot to really say. Actually, that's a vine, I think. I think that's a vine that we've got there. So I'm going to take that color out so we can add it back in as a piece of foliage, because she's got some weeds in her hair for whatever reason. It's gotten very quiet, and if anybody has any questions they want to ask, I will get to them now. It seems I have plenty of time. So that's a temporary job on the hair. Let's put in some of these leaves. Now, Jan did ask me to go with... originally we've got kind of autumn colored leaves, but he asked for something more in purple and black. So I'm going to try and represent what he asked for. We'll put it back to a white background just so we have a bit of better context for the sort of darker colors. What did you charge for the commissions this time around, if you don't mind me asking? Daviate, it was going to be $60 publicly, but it was on discount for people on Patreon. It was a $15 discount for people on Patreon. Jan Deval, what are you working on? Jan Deval says the project that he's currently doing will be the death of him. What is it? If you don't mind sharing it. But maybe he can't. Maybe it's a government. Maybe it's a hit job for the CIA. Maybe it's literally a project that could be the death of you. So you don't have to share if you don't want to. Okay, so let's go in with the... Let's do this bloody armor now. It's been bothering me. Actually, no, let's go in with the... let's do the clasp on her head. And let's hit save. Do you have a price list, Harry? Oh, Iggy, I'm not currently accepting commissions. I was only going to do 10, and that filled up really, really quickly. And I'm planning to get back to animation this week and try and finish Dr. Bees 3 by the end of the month, which is really delayed. So, yeah, okay, sorry, you had your question answered already, but thank you. How do you get rid of the green-blue shadow lines? Stefan, what I do is go to find and replace color. And let's say I select the green. I just select an alpha 0 color and then hit replace, and it would get rid of the green, and then I could do the blue the same way. But for the time being, I want to keep them on the screen, and so I won't go and do that find and replace yet. It's a hit job on me. I play piano, and I've recently taken the jump to making music, so I'm working on a piece of music in Ableton. Can I get the transition down? Wow, okay, Ableton, I've not heard of that. I take it it's software. Jacob Tucker asked a question. It was deleted by the Google moderator team. Can you ask it in a different way, Jacob? Because I didn't delete it. It didn't sound like anyone in the chat deleted it. Like, no moderators. That's a Google thing, so... That's great that you write music too, Jan. See, what color are her wraps? They're basically the same color as her hair, just a little bit more on the yellow side. Do you play any instruments? Asks Harry Ashfield. I do play guitar. I've played since I was about 13. I am very rusty because I took, I was really into it age 13, 14, 15, and then right up into my early 20s, I was playing basically every day. I just do not have any reason to play it anymore, so I can go easily like 2-3 months without touching it, and I've totally lost the calluses on my fingers that I used to have, so I actually played bass. I did like I play guitar and bass because it's, if you can play guitar, you can play bass pretty much. I played bass like a live jazz thing a couple of years ago, a little recording session, and after an hour there were these huge blisters on my fingers and I literally couldn't do it anymore because I totally lost my calluses. So going right back into playing for just non-stop, like an hour, 2 hours, whatever it was. I had said, guys, can we stop? And I switched to doing vocals instead because I just couldn't do anything with my fingers like swollen up. So have you seen the first episode of Hell of a Boss? Yes, I have seen it, Jacob. Was that your question? I did watch it basically the day after it came out, and I see they're already teasing episode 2. And I said on Twitter, I said, this is like really inspiring, guys. A bunch of people were like, yeah, Harry, you can't make shit fast. And I thought, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I'm not... You're just agreeing with me. But yeah, those guys and girls, there's obviously a girl, they are just amazing. It's amazing what they're doing. They are making totally TV quality, in terms of the visuals, totally TV quality animation with... it looks like the output speed is basically better than television right now with how much they're actually doing and getting out there. It's crazy. It's crazy and inspiring, and I think I'll get there eventually. I feel like I'm loading my muskets over here, taking my sweet time, but that's my goal, is to be able to do that too with that kind of output. Trying to get that weird blue bones or whatever is on her costume and get the actual colour to look kind of right. Part 5, Iggy says, I recently downloaded the latest version of Animate, and what the hell happened when I was away? I don't think I have the latest version. I've got 2017 I'm using right now, and I think I own 2019 as well. Well, I think I own them all because like I'm paying a subscription. I'm paying through the nose to use them. So I think I have access to 2020, whatever the most recent version is. I assume it's 2020, but what's different about it, Part 5, Iggy? And let me see. Oh yeah, it's still doing the bandages. So speaking of internet animation, have you seen the new or any Tales of Elethrion? I have definitely seen one and not many else. How many of them are there? I'm confused. Are they all fully animated, or are there some that are animatic? I thought it was an animated series, and I think I tried to watch one once, and it wasn't. It was like an animatic, and I thought, oh, is it more like a motion comic? And I didn't really stick around to figure it out because I'm lazy, and I'm just a lazy millennial that couldn't be bothered, and I disappeared 5 minutes later. But are they... Do you recommend them? Are they particularly good? I know they're very, very technically well animated, or the one I saw that was animated was technically good. Oh yeah, The Quest I think was the one I saw too, and it was great. Still feel like that's a little off. That color that we were using there was just a little more golden than brown. So trying to find a good color for the shadow of the armor here. I think though we'd see the arm through the gap there. Come on, Harry. Come on, Harry. Try and finish off that arm. What are you folks saying in the chat? The layout is just totally unfamiliar. I feel like most previous versions of Flash you can easily transition between, but I found this one a lot harder to navigate. That's sad when they completely... I mean, I like features being added. I don't like entire interfaces and sort of workflows being overhauled like that. That's not good. Sorry to hear that, Iggy. I did the Iggy. I actually did have to do an Iggy recently. I drew Itchy and Scratchy for a project that you will probably see, a lot of you, because it's a pretty good upcoming web cartoon that is not released yet. But somebody asked if I would do some art for it, and it entailed me drawing Itchy and Scratchy, so I drew some Itchy and Scratchy characters. And all day I was saying, I did the Iggy. Alright, so we're going to get that really obnoxious purple. So actually, there's a lot more of it in the center, so I'm going to probably clear that out. And draw a bunch more of it in the middle. Come back to that in a minute. Turn on my little fan. I'm getting a little bit warm in here, which is doesn't make any sense. I don't even have the heating on in this office, but it always gets warm. Something about me, a big man, and a big man in a small room, pumping out body heat next to a big old computer. Gets very warm. Hi, Cinetic. Thank you for coming by. Good to see some new faces in here. Tomagotchi says, speaking of animation, there's going to be a Thomas reboot that is flash animated. The only picture of it teasing it looks horrendous. Oh, oh man, I'd like to see that. I would like to see that image. If you want to tweet that to me, if you're still on, I don't know, you're not still on Twitter, are you anymore, Tomagotchi? I know that you didn't always have an account, but if you want to shoot that my way, sounds fun to look at. All right. Wiggle, wiggle, yellow middle. Crack, 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 chip and chip away your shell and dead, dead, dead. I love egg. Na 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 na. Alrighty. I don't know. It looks weird to me, the armor, but I guess that's kind of what she's wearing. What kind of trousers is she wearing? Okay, something like this. So these sort of dark trousers on, like that. She's got these little purple bits on her. And they are muted in tone, kind of like that. And more of the pant area with the highlights. We've got to do the backlighting still. And her belt, we'll just make that the same color as the wooden part on her armor. So we're nearly at the skin tone, which I guess is the next part. Let me just finish off the let's make the gloves. And I should get back to the chat and see what is happening in Chat Town, USA, population, you guys, and Gregor, who is a visitor, and he doesn't actually live in Chat Town, USA. He's passing through. Right. Gregor agrees with Tomagotchi. The new Thomas show does not look good. All right, yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out later on. Sincere Mitchell says, "Do you have any favorite video game soundtracks or any soundtracks?" Well, video game soundtracks. Let me see. What do I like video game wise? Gosh, like video game sound. I mean, like really obvious ones like Final Fantasy VII. I do like that soundtrack a lot. I wouldn't say I listen to it regularly. Movie soundtracks. I mean, I always listen to Beetlejuice and Batman, a big Danny Elfman fan. I like John Williams. I like Jerry Goldsmith. I'm much more comfortable probably with movie soundtracks and seem to listen to those a lot more regularly than video game soundtracks. But definitely I like video game music too. Alright, so what's going on with this sword thing she's got? Okay, so it's got a dark bit and a light bit. It's got a dark bit and a light bit. So we're going to go... The dark bit is really sort of purpley and dark. I'm going to put that in there like that. And... try and give the impression that it's uneven, and the next part is going to be more sort of bluey. Okay, like that. And then the tip is really a vibrant blue on the tip, right? Yeah, it's sort of even more vibrant than that. Basically like her hair color. I don't know, I think I've made the light spots a little bit too light. Let's take it down just a touch. Yep, I think it's a bit better. And then it's got this bandage wrapped around it, which is, again, we're going to pull from our brown that we've already done. Make it a little bit more like that, and we'll just cut into some of these areas a little bit to try and provide some more highlights. We have 93 viewers. I have no idea why, because I haven't said anything in ages. Maybe that's why, if I just shut up. It's the thing about these long streams that go 2 hours and over, is that you sort of start to run out of things to talk about. Not a whole lot happening in Harry World USA right here, right now. At the moment, it's all very dull. I wish they hadn't closed the gyms. I do like going to the gym in the morning, or I did, but they've closed them all because of the bloody pandemic, and it means that I'm just getting fatter and fatter because I just sit at my desk all day. I don't have a regular job that I have to physically, travel to be at, so it's a very good way of me getting some exercise, going to the gym in the morning. I don't want to just turn it into a gripe stream though. That's just griping, Harry. Harry, no one wants to hear that. Don't just gripe. Gripe, gripe, gripe. You guys, I am excited as hell for the next couple of weeks. Really, really, really am. I really can't wait. I have a lot of good stuff happening because these commissions and this current little animated project that I was working on for the Comic Tropes channel, they are all wrapping up in the next 2-3 days. And then the great thing is I'm back to Harry projects. But the good thing about those Harry projects is they're all nearly done. Dr. Bees is going to be released, I am sure of it, in November now. I know I said September and October, but I really am sure it's going to be November. And then after that, I'm going to return to Starbarian's Kilgar's Code 2, which I was actually working on for last Christmas, so that's nearly done. It's got a lot of work already finished. And I want to release that in sort of early mid-December, and then spend the rest of December working on either the Starbarians comic book or Starbarians episode 4. So I have a lot of stuff that I'm really excited to be working on, and I just can't wait. I cannot wait. Can't wait to up my output and show you all what I've been working on, and release more than, you know, one good new cartoon this year. Part 5, Iggy says, can we have a Christmas stream to look forward to in December? I want to do more streams in general, so yeah, of course I'll be doing one around Christmas time. That could be good. Glad to hear that your music is coming together, Jan Duval. That's good news. Are you planning to make this music available when you're done, live, or is it going straight in your project and staying offline for the time being? Alrighty, so let's just get this. We're nearly done with the solid colors, guys, and then we can take it into Photoshop and do some finessing and some molesting and all that kind of stuff. All right, and let me see. The color on her tattoo is basically like that on her armor, so we'll go with that kind of, maybe a little. Let's tweak it a little bit. We're not done with the colors yet. We're basically putting in flat areas of color we can then play with, and I'm glad Jan is still around because I'm going to get his opinion in a minute. Yeah, and I keep saying his, and I'm assuming you're a male because you play World of Warcraft. That's not very fair. There's tons of girls that play World of Warcraft, but correct me, please. I've already said his a couple of times, and I don't want to keep doing that if it's not what you want me to be saying. Okay, so she's got these kind of slightly dead-looking lips, honestly. They're very dark, and I don't know, there's something a bit creepy about her lips. A little bit more blue, maybe. We can change every color that's on screen, though, by doing just a simple find and replace. So I imagine that is something I'm going to go ahead and do. Let me see. Jan Duval says, I am indeed a guy. Okay, good. Harry Ashfield says, just had a thought. This character looks a bit like Neytiri from your Avatar cartoon a while back. Uh-oh. Hojik Suli. Wiggle, wiggle, yellow middle. That damn song stuck in my head. Anyone else know that I Love Eggs song? I love egg, really, really love you, egg. Do 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 do, do 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 do. Yeah, that blue used on the hair is too dark. We're gonna fix that in a second because I've used it on the teeth too, and it looks like she's got blue teeth. So we don't want that. All right, before we go any further, I'm gonna make sure the scar has some sort of color that sort of separates it from the rest of the face. So I'm just going to go in, and this may not be enough. We may need to do a little bit more detail, but I don't want to go too heavy with the scar because if we do, and it looks ugly, all right. Yeah, we got to do the earring too. I'll use the same color we did for the little clasp on the earring. Alrighty, so I think she is coming together nicely. We still want to do the back lighting, which is what I'm going to do now before we go in and start really going nuts. Now the backlighting could be any color. I'm going to go with orange, but it may end up blue. I was just thinking, I don't know what it will be, but it can all be updated later on. Maybe we don't want blue. Maybe let's go with a very, very, very light blue just for the time being. It can all be changed. Nothing's permanent. We're still working in vector, which is easy to switch out colors. Yeah, I already know I don't like this blue, but that's fine. We can go ahead and change it anyway. Yeah, Yan Deval says there's 3 more Avatar movies coming. I know there's definitely a lot more Avatar stuff coming, and I actually am kind of interested. I think a lot of these people that say, hey, you know, no one remembers Avatar now. It's passé, it's old, who cares? I'm not so sure. I would not bet against James Cameron, because James Cameron, you know, people maybe said, hey, Terminator, it's been 6 years since Terminator. They couldn't make another one. No one will watch it. It was a big hit. Titanic, that's a historical period movie for nerds. No one's going to want to watch that. Made, you know, highest grossing movie of all time. I'm not sure people did say those things, but I'm just saying it may not always be on paper the sure, you know, the most likely hit movie, but you know, we don't know what it's going to be like. And honestly, I feel so let down by the Star Wars and Star Trek entries of late that I'm fine with getting something new that's sci-fi and big budget, because I'm not invested in it. You know, I didn't love the first movie, but in a way that's nice because it means I don't feel too bad if this one doesn't turn out great. I actually like going into a new movie and not feeling super invested either way in how it turns out. So yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm not super hopeful, but I'm intrigued. Okay, well, we're gonna replace. I'm gonna give her a dark background just so we get some idea of what we're looking at here, and I'm gonna crop out the rest. So there she is right now. It's a little bit flat. I don't love it, honestly, but but we can make it pop a little bit more with better coloring, and that is what I will try to do. So at this point, I'm actually going to open the floor up to suggestions from anybody, but specifically Yan. If you have any changes you'd like you think the hair is too dark, or the skin isn't right, or anything you want me to fix, the shadow on the face, you know, the scar, anything. Nothing is final at this point, so. Hey Mechadine, thank you for coming by. Hey, melding. Yeah, so I'm going to actually go ahead and do something. I'm going to add in some color on the some of this backlighting. We can change the color of this, but I just feel like it should be on a layer above. In fact, I will do a finer replace on that blue. Just want to make it a little bit... Hang on, what's it doing here? What is it doing? Why is it not? There we go. Make it a little bit brighter even. All right. Wrap it up, Harry. The color of the tattoo I think would look nicer as a darker color, says Jan. Okay, we can totally do that. A deeper purple. I could make the eye a little lighter or a little darker. Is that more what you wanted, or do you mean like an actual different shade, like a more blue, purple or something? And I can blend elements in and do lots of little things like that along the way. Yep. What's going on here? What's going on? And we'll just add a little bit more of that backlighting onto the arm here, just a tiny bit. That change looks perfect. Okay, good. Well, there we go, everyone. That's the word perfect. Haha. Now, we're not done yet. I'm going to definitely add some more elements in and try to make it even better. But Jan said he likes it, so I'm happy with that. I will be back in 2 seconds. I'm going to use the little girl's room, and I am going to open up Photoshop and going to try and really bring it to life in Photoshop. Jan, if you get a chance, let me know what kind of color or image you would like behind. I'm not going to do anything really extravagant, but if you'd like sort of like a sky or a moon or something of a particular color, let me know, and I'll be right back in a minute, guys, and we'll get this finished, and we will get this completely, totally done. Okay, Jan says maybe I could make the eyelid darker. We'll do that in Photoshop, okay? I'll be right back. You think about the background, and we'll do all the cool effects like the blade light and everything like that. Okay, we'll make it really pop and fun. Back in a minute, guys. Hello, welcome back. That took a little time, guys. Guess what? We now have a bunch of gaps. You can probably see them. There's some in there. Some in there. Some in there. Blah, 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 blah. So, really quickly, I'm going to create a new layer and fix some of these gaps. I should have fixed them in Flash, but I didn't see them. And now we have that light background. I see them. I see you, Neytiri. I see you, Jixuli. So how do you create a thing in Photoshop? Flambeau Schloop. How do you create a layer? Layer. Dr. Evil's volcano. Layer. You go to layer, I would imagine. And you add a new layer. That's probably how we do it. Okay, great. Excellent. Well, that all worked out beautifully. Right, well, I will quickly fix some of these gaps that are showing through. And then we can get to finishing up the colors and making it all sing and look lovely. And then I'm free. I'm free. I still have commissions left, but I'm free to go and eat churros. I bought a pack of churros today in the supermarket, and I thought I'm an overweight man in his early 30s. I definitely need churros. I need to go and buy a big packet of long sugary donuts and a chocolate dip. That sounds like a smart thing that I should be doing, and I am going to eat them tonight. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm probably going to watch a wrestling bios video because there's a channel. I'm not really into wrestling, but I do kind of like the history of and the behind the scenes of it all. And there's a channel run by a guy. I think he's from Northern Ireland because he talks like that. Or I know it's not. I'm not doing it right. Wrestling bios. He's really good though. He does really cool videos. So probably going to watch him for a bit. Why is that not? Why can I not draw on top of that layer? Does it need to be rasterized? No. Layer, merge visible. Why can I not draw on top of it? Oh, it's because it's set to darken. There we go. There we go. See, I'm not very knowledgeable of Photoshop. It trips me up a lot of the time. So, let me see in the chat. Did we have any feedback about the background from Jan Duval? How was your poo, Harry? I didn't go for a poo, Iggy. I went for a glass of water and a big old wee-wee. So there you go. So, did we decide on a background color yet? Because that's going to help me with a few things. I'll just throw something in, and we'll start running with it. Let's just say, let's grab the bucket fill. My good buddy, Bucket Phil. That's me, Bucket Phil. And we'll just throw something under like that. And I know that's not right. It's really not right, but it's just to give us something to work with here. Whoa! Yeah, that big brush. My computer didn't like that. Sparks flew out the top of it. Hang on. No. Oh, excellent. Excellent. 3D brush tool. Come on. 3D brush. Alright, what happened? Where'd it go? Where'd my bloody background go? It took me forever to do that solid bucket fill. A moonlit sky. Would you like me? In fact, I have a moon that I used in Trilby Dogtooth. Would you like to reuse the Trilby Dogtooth moon, or is that is that a little bit cheeky? Is that a little bit too? Because it's a nice moon, and we can play with the colors. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be very naughty, and I'm gonna we'll give you the option, okay? And we'll take a look at it, and if you go, oh yeah, Harry, that looks pretty good, then we'll run with it. Just give me a second. I'm gonna go grab the file. I keep having to disappear on these live streams, but this will be a really short one, I promise. I'll be right back. Hey, we're back. I actually could not find the file that I intended to open up, so this one will have to do. But this is a background from Trilby Dogtooth, as you can see. It's a very high resolution background. You can see business names like King Cornish. This is a sky. It's all compressed into one layer, so that's not very good. Can we... Do I have a better... I have a better one than this, surely. Oh boy. Oh boy, so many of them. So many. Definitely have a better one than that. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this one anyway. I'm gonna grab it. See, this sounds very, very cheap what I'm doing. You shouldn't be, you know, selling commissions and then reusing artwork from old images, but normally I would do something like this and not ask permission, and then I'd leave it up to, you know, to fate if it was a problem or not. But usually I wouldn't ask. But I think something like that could actually work very well. Now what we would want to do is, if we pasted it in, I don't think that blue necessarily works the best because she's already so blue, and we could actually take the hue and saturation, we could do something totally different, like a pink or red is pretty cool, and then we could change the backlighting color so it matched that. But I'm opening up to Jan Duval. If Jan would like something, you know, if he wants something that's completely custom, that's absolutely fine. I will do something that's totally custom. But I think something like that would actually work quite well, and then we tweak the colors and try and make her pop a little bit more and add a sort of a glowing effect to the blade. But I want to do what's best for our commissioner. It's just that when someone spent money on a commission, it doesn't seem completely dumb to try and, you know, if it makes sense for some shortcuts. If you've already drawn a moon, then it may make sense to do that. I mean, literally, that's like, I have a certain way I draw moons. If I drew a brand new moon, it would probably look the same. It would just be a big white circle on a dark background with clouds in front of it. So I can't think of what I would do differently, but this is a good starting point. See, if Jan says, oh, I want more clouds, or I don't want clouds, then fine, I can redo it without the clouds, or I can change what we have already. So consider this one to really be, you know, a starting point. Terranium's really upset with me. I'm waiting for kind of some feedback or some sort of go-ahead. People are saying a purple moon. Yeah, no, that moon is great. I like loads of those colors you phase through. Well, I mean, hey, I can do some different options. We can keep it like this for the time being. I think what I should probably do is... maybe let's just take it back to what we had, which was a little bit more purple. And... no, we don't want to play with that. We don't want to play with that either. We want to play with the hue. I don't know. I don't want to. I might let you decide on the background color, but for the time being, I think we want to make a few alterations to our artwork. First of all, I'm going to make it just a little bit more saturated, and actually bring in a little bit of a shadow, just sort of on her lower half, so she's not totally 100% all in. It's an evenly lit state. I'm just going to play with her a little bit down here. Yeah, something like that, just to create a little bit more depth. And we did talk about the possibility of darkening her eyelid up a little bit, which we can try. And I'm going to do that on a separate layer, actually. And if this isn't working, we can just totally play with it. But But I noticed the original character had sort of like a haze a little bit around her eye, and then what we could do is delete that so it doesn't go over the highlight of the eye. Speaking of highlights, maybe we could play with a few other areas. I want to actually add a couple of little cheeky highlights just here and there. Maybe some overlays, just a few things that I think would have little tiny areas of highlight. I've gone way overboard with highlights in the past, and I'm going to try not to do that this time, but just little things, like definitely the very edge of the blade, I feel would benefit, just so it looks extra sharp. We're also going to do some energy kind of around the blade, because that's what the character is shown to have. It's like a magical blade that has some kind of energy kind of peeling away from it. Looks kind of cool. Same on the bone, just a little bit, just to make things pop just a tiny bit. I can get, oh, it's fun to do. I can't help it. It's really fun to do this kind of stuff, to, you know, to play with it. So we don't want to get too caught up, but I am, of course, going to defer to Jan, who's commissioned this piece of work. And if there's anything that he likes that he wants me to get rid of, I will do that without hesitation. It's actually nice occasionally to surrender a little bit to the tastes of other people, because then you can, you know, not get too caught up in whether or not you like something, and let someone else decide if it's for them or not. So just a little bit here and there. Just here and there. Definitely those metallic earrings. We want just a little bit of a highlight on those. They are strange earrings, but I kind of dig them. Okay, well. Just slightly blend some of these shadows just a little bit. And then we're going to go and draw some of that energy on the blade. And this might be a good incentive actually to stick with the blue moon, because if we've got energy sort of that's purple coming off, we want to see it any way we can, and I think we'll see it a lot better in front of a blue moon than a purple moon. So, because it's kind of like this. In fact, let's totally make it. This is not going to be anywhere near this this solid. I'm just sort of trying something out. I don't know if I like that streak. Don't know if the energy on the blade should be streaking back like that, or it should be sort of held in place. Yeah, I think the streak sort of implies movement, but now we're not going to keep it quite that solid though. What I'm intending to do is to make it some kind of cheesy effect, like lighten, and reduce it by a good amount of opacity, and just sort of come in and sort of, oops, don't want to play with the background too much. Let's come in and sort of play with it a little bit to just cut away. But uh-oh, that's what we want. We want totally normal. Could even go in front. No. It could go in front, actually. It's kind of interesting. I feel that makes it look more magical in a way. Tell you what we definitely want to do as well. So I think that eyelid wants just a little tiny highlight on it. Just something like that, just to make it pop just a tiny bit. And something like that. So, guys, oh, that's not what we want at all. I'm wondering if at this point it is time to wrap this up and hand it over to Jan and call it a job relatively well done. It's okay. It's not one of my absolute best, but doing it live is a little different. It's a little unnerving in a lot of ways. And I think I did okay given that sort of difference. But Jan, I'd like to know how you're feeling about what we've done today, and if you have any changes that I could make before I email this over to you and call it a done deal. It's not working there with the blade. Maybe putting a shine on the blade. We're getting a suggestion. That's a pretty good one, but I don't want to make it too big. Maybe something like that. I don't know. It's got like a blend effect added to it. I might actually ditch that and just create it on a new layer. So with that, I think I'm just about done. Now, if I can go back to the original illustration, let me just actually, sorry, the reference image. Let me open it up. I'll be right back. 1 second. So here we go. That's the original Lula. There she is in profile, but Jan asked that the scar be downplayed a little bit, the leaves be made much smaller, and also purple and black, and the ears, yeah, the ears made a lot smaller. And there she is, full body with, yeah, the energy on the knife is definitely purple, I'd say, but the tip still feels very blue. So My purple energy is sort of overriding a little bit of that blue. But there we go. There she is in the video game. And here's my interpretation of her anyway. Hopefully this is to Yan's liking. Yan says, I think the glow from the blade can have a tinge of black or a darker color. Okay, well we can totally do that. Let's go over to our blade. Let me take a look at Okay, so sort of just a darker color in the glow on the blade. All right. Maybe then that should be on another level. Yeah, the energy coming from the blade, I guess, it's a little unusual, but want to make sure we get this right. I'm just going almost like I don't really know what I'm doing. Let me try actually. Let's grab the actual color that we've done. Make it darker. Except I feel like if I make it darker, it's just not going to be visible. Yeah, I'm trying to see what exactly is happening in the game. To me, it looks quite bright still, but we want to make it darker. Hang on 1 second. Why don't I open up the reference that Yan actually sent me of the weapon? That would be a good idea. Boy, I'm smart. Yeah, just look at the weapon, Harry. See, this is what I think Yan was talking about. These black blotches that sort of float around it. Okay, well that we can do. See, that we can absolutely do. See, I was trying to come up and imagine something that I wasn't actually. I knew I'd seen something like that because, of course, I'd seen the reference picture he sent me. All right, well that's easy. That's easy. Something like remember we are recreating this weapon, which has these sort of splotches and blotches that float around it. The splotch blotch knife. I'm sure it's very deadly in the game. So that is, I think, a little closer to. Let me try. Just a couple of these have like little blue highlights in them. There we go. Actually, I don't like those that much. I think we can basically take those out. Maybe make it a little bit more blurred. I don't know. I don't want to totally erase it. Tell you what, let's make it just a touch bigger, and then I'll just shunt a few of these up. So that is, I think, a little closer to how the blade actually looks in the game. Something like that. Maybe I should not have had all that blur added to it, Harry. It looks probably better before. How does that strike you, Yan? Does that feel like your character? Black effect emanates around the blade. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think we've drawn it emanating from the blade. That looks right. Okay, well, Jan says it looks good. So, guys, on that note, just adding in a hint of collarbone there, because Terranium, my critic, has suggested it. I think it's quite a good idea because she does have quite a low neck on that top, and we could definitely go ahead and add that in. Oh, okay, right. I get you. Sorry, you were suggesting something before I looked at the reference. Got it. Okay, well, there we go, everyone. If that looks good, then I'm going to call that done and send that over to you, Jan. Thank you again for all of your support. I really appreciate you buying a commission, and thank you to anybody that came by today and watched this. You guys are very generous with your time. Hopefully it was on some level illuminating or interesting for you and you got something out of it. I will be back again soon, probably with animation, because that's what I'm moving back to over the next couple of days, getting back into animating and moving away from commissions. And we will be progressing back on Dr. Bees by the end of the month and hopefully getting it all out there for you. Thank you to everybody that came by today. Really good of you. And thanks again to Jan. You take care, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.